18 minutes after the hour now, the ACLU facing backlash for arguing that racism is, quote, foundational to the Second Amendment and its inclusion in the Bill of Rights.
Joining us now is the national spokesperson for the Gun Owners of America and fellow at the Falkirk Center, Antonia Okafor Covert. Thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So let's go ahead and pull up this quote, and this is the question: do Black Americans have the right to bear arms? This is from the ACLU, and it says the vigilantism of widespread gun ownership puts Black Americans in an especially vulnerable position given the brutality and human cost of discriminatory policing. The rhetoric of gun rights has been selectively manipulated and utilized to inflame white racial anxiety and to frame Blackness as an inherent threat. What is your reaction to this?
My reaction is, unfortunately, we have an ACLU that is not the ACLU of the 70s or the past. It's not preserving civil liberties. And even in that quote that you just read, you can see just the many holes that are in that argument of saying that it's, of course, inherently racist is what they're trying to say. But then you look at the facts is that over 60%, over 58% of African Americans are now gun owners. And that just increased. And that's so important for people to know that, because that's showing that it's not that gun rights are racist, but if anything, gun control has shown throughout history that it's been racist and it's kept African Americans from being able to be in the equality stance that they should have been in the first place.
And that number, that 58.2%, that is a tremendous, tremendous number and really cuts against that argument. The author also used the word vigilantism. Excuse me. Is that code for people shouldn't be allowed to defend their homes against the Second Amendment?
Right. Again, that's part of the holes in that argument of saying these vigilantes who, oh, by the way, happen to be African American, but you're talking about white supremacy. You're talking about racist people who, by the way, don't like to have someone else have a firearm when they have the same type of force because they want to do the most harm in the least amount of time. Go figure. Criminals and racists and whatever type of background you have, whatever it means, is that you want to do the most harm in the least amount of time. So the fact of the matter is that we should be empowering people. We should be really pushing equality through the Second Amendment. And that's what the Second Amendment is all about. And that's what it's always been about. It's just, unfortunately, we've had people who are truly racist keep other African Americans from realizing that equal dream.
Let's talk about this now for a second, because, you know, I feel like we talk about hypocrisy all the time.
Every day. Every
day. And Cori Bush wants to defund your police while apparently dishing out $70,000 on private security. This is a story that we talked about yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what Trey Gowdy has to say as he calls her out for this.
She wants to defund your police while she has a robust personal security detail in Washington and St. Louis. And that sends the clear message that her safety is more important than yours.
I mean, no one's safety should be more important than anyone else's. I mean, we should all want and deserve that right to feel safe, whether it be in our homes or walking down the street or in the places of our work.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, this is just a classic example of one of many examples that we've seen with the anti-gun left that have pushed this gun rights for me, but for not for the type of mentality of saying, you know, we're the important people. We're the people who should have security. And by the way, we also have the money to do so, most likely your own taxpayer money to do so. But we don't think that, you know, you, the people, should be able to defend yourself and to protect yourself. The Second Amendment, again, isn't about self-defense, but it does allow us to be able to make sure that we don't have to rely on the police. We don't have to rely on the government. We don't have to rely on these legislators for gun control. We don't want them to do so. We can rely on ourselves, and that's what the American dream is all about.
I wonder how many of her private security will be comprised of health officials without guns, and how many will be comprised of former officers with guns.
Right.
There you go. Antonia, as always, a pleasure having you on.
Thank you.